Okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. As you can say, well, today I'll be talking about unsetting goals. Um, because I've been thinking and I've been writing also about um, this idea of not having any goal in particular in your mind, and I'm having a look here of what I'm supposed to talk. Well, yeah. Um, Today I wrote an article, so it's about how specifically this year I started with a goal that you can actually call it's a no goal or a non-objective, um, because the first year of the first month of the year, sorry, it was in January. I was in Chile and we were at a complex doing some workshops. It was a whole week. It was a retreat actually of workshops about dancing and those kind of things. And we had the opportunity to talk a lot with friends and to dance a lot also. To it actually think somehow it changed our mind for me and my friends there. And so due to these circumstances, I said, okay, the rest of the year, I don't know exactly what I will be doing. I knew for sure that I will continue working and delivering workshops and giving trainings and also coaching people, of course, because that's how I live. That's the things I do for a living. So, then I thought I will try to do the least possible in my life, the least things I can do, and just give space for other things that might surprise me. And it turned actually to be a good decision for 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 a year started. So that was my New Year resolution this year, and it has proven to be actually great because for example, I said this thing I don't want to do any longer. For example, I decided not to take some classes I've been taking for dance and those kind of things. So at the first, I started the year with so little things to do, and I started some other dances I wanted to try out. And in my personal life, it was actually really good. I knew for sure that I would have some coaching sessions. I would have some work. Well, I didn't know for sure, but somehow I trust things will turn out being good because I had so many more clients this year, and I'm actually so grateful about that. Um, but I didn't start it in comparison with other times when I said I have to earn this amount of money and I have to deliver this kind of numbers for trainings, and there has to be this kind of numbers for people or range, sorry, in numbers. But this year, just as I started, I know there will be something to work on. There will be trainings I can deliver. There will be people who need coaching. So that's not a problem for me. Um, of course, I wanted to have work, of course, because as I said, I live from that. But somehow I thought that was covered, and it actually was. So I didn't have exactly how many clients I will be having or how many things I will be working on as an independent coach, but I thought I only have enough for a living, and it actually was even more than I actually needed for a living. So, as I say, I'm very grateful about that. And I think it was because I didn't have a specific goal in mind and that I have to do this and that. Because for me, and I think about my personality specifically. I tend to be more anxious if I set a specific goal and I have to do this and that, and I have to take this step and then the other one, and I get so caught up in plans. So I think that specifically for me, goals just don't work because I get too anxious, and then when things turn out to be in another direction, I get so inflexible. I say that it has to be done this way and that kind of thing. So I think it doesn't work for me. So I was thinking a lot, specifically after I had some some mentoring, and I work with so many coaches, um, with a specific mentor from the UK, and he's Seamus Smart, you may know him, and many things came to I don't know, somehow they were fitting fitting each other, and I say, okay, then maybe it's okay not to have goals at all. Maybe it's okay to just start with, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and um, I mean, I knew I would work as a coach. I knew I would have clients. I knew I would deliver um, many trainings and that, but I didn't need specific number to say I want to do this specific number, because it has proven to me counter pro counterproductive. Sorry for me. So um, there is um, actually specifically, I think if you don't know how to do things or what you want to do, this is a good approach for you to take. I knew I ought to do this kind of things, as I'm saying. I knew I have work to do. I knew I um, would be dancing because that's what I love doing, and I knew I would be doing some artistic things on the side, but I didn't know that life would have so many surprises and good surprises for me. And I think that given space just for things to turn out by themselves is actually good. So that's what I call unsetting goals. I mean, not having so much on your mind of what things you are going to start and what things you're going to leave behind, and that kind of thing. It actually gives so much space for you to try out new things. For example, I was having almost okay. It will. I'm offline somehow. Hello, I'm back again. Okay. Anyway, I will continue. And as I was saying, somehow I thought my schedule would be almost clear from things, but it actually turned out the opposite. Somehow I started taking things from here and there, not just anything. I mean, things I really enjoyed, I wanted to do, and that's why I wanted to share with you this idea of leaving these goals aside. At least it works for me. Maybe it doesn't for you. And I know that many people um, write their goals and they get so obsessed about them and start working and doing so many things to get their goals, um, to get their goals into something. And I think that just being flexible is what actually works for me. So as I was saying, maybe it doesn't have to work for you. Maybe you love setting goals, but I prefer to be surprised by life, and it has actually been great because there have been so many surprises. For example, I had travels all the time. I was talking to a friend the other day, and I said all the time I wanted to travel. For example, at a shop I would get, and the first thing I wanted to know if there would be travel, and every time, sorry, travel, not trouble, and every time they would say yes, there will be some troubles. We maybe could have some work trips and that kind of thing, and then I have never traveled while I was on a job, on a specific job. So this year I thought, well, maybe I won't be able to travel anywhere, and somehow two travels abroad would come, and I think that's because of that, because of giving the space for things to turn out by themselves. And it's just an idea, so maybe you can try this out too for the next year, and live in that space for things to turn out on themselves, and let them fill your schedule. um, of course this takes actually a lot of um, faith somehow, just hope, just wait for things to turn out good. And I know so many people is afraid of letting things just turn out the way they are supposed, or there has been some setbacks, of course, during this year for me, but I think in general it has been a great year, and it has given me also the space to read a lot, to do more workshops that other people were delivering, specifically about art and creativity, and I will be learning and exploring a lot about that. Also having so much time to think about things I wanted to think, and also about for writing. This year we have a great community in creativity and tools, this group I've been telling you about, and it has given so much space for me to write, to do the things I love, to write the newsletter twice a week, um, and also for even starting these live sessions that I actually, when at first I was afraid that everything would be so wrong, and yes, many things went wrong, but also so many things have been right. And specifically one of the things that I still struggling with are the sound in these sessions, but it will be solved soon, I hope. And well, there have been some setbacks, of course, during the year. There's some personal things that didn't turn out so well as I thought they would. Some other things that um, weren't that good as I expected, but you know, that's life. So when you think about the next year resolutions for yourself, think about what you want to do. But as I was saying in the last session, just think about it as a big goal for maybe the next or the next 3 years. Because if you also, well, I can talk about goals, but if you also think about things for 20 years, you may think of a larger thing you can do. But if you think, for example, for things you can do in 3 years, maybe they are actual good size of goals that you can set. Yeah, that's okay. But in the meantime, just enjoy life, and just that, and see what rollouts, what's the next step, and you will be figuring out the things on your own when they turn up. Mm, because if you stick up to if you stick to a particular goal and it doesn't happen, it doesn't become true, um, you will be actually very frustrated. Maybe you won't want to try out new things. So be open, um, see what you can learn from your experience, from this approach I'm talking about for not having goals for the year. and giving space for yourself, for your thoughts, for the things you want to do, and also there to have no things at all. Because sometimes we say, okay, I will try to do the least as possible, and you actually start with calendars so full of things to do. I started with 0 things and I ended up with so many things I couldn't even imagine. So, and during this time I will also keep this thing in mind. I try to do the least I can, because I want space for my own thinking. I want space for reading. I want space for other things I want to do. And maybe it will be completely different the next year, and I think it will. And I will give you this news. I was actually was going to talk about it today, but I will leave it for a few sessions um, from now. So I think next year will be completely different, and I think that more surprises will come, and I'm I'm willing to welcome them. I'm willing to let them be the way they have to roll out, and just be flexible, or at least as flexible as I can, because I was saying I turn out to, when I set a goal, I turn out to become obsessive with things, and that's actually not good for my health and my mind even. So anyway, this talk was so much about me, but I think that it can also give you a hint about things that you can try in a different way, specifically if you are getting so obsessed about things and how they have to turn out. So if you are such an obsessive and workaholic person as I used to be, maybe this is a good approach that you can try. And it has proven, as I said, to be of great help for me, and with big, huge surprises I would have never imagined. So I give you also an article that was it's just a brief post I wrote about it today also for the community of creativity and tools, and also the accomplishments in numbers, which is in Spanish. I will leave you this um, comment also, but you can use the translator. And I have been thinking about the things, and I hope somehow it can be of some help of you. And please do comment if you like it. Comment of the things you have already tried for yourself, and if you don't like it, please be respectful, but write why you don't like this approach and what things you think I could have done differently, because I also learn a lot from different things and from similar things too. Mm, so I think that's all for now, and I'll be as you can also notice, I somehow this year, this last part of the year, I'm doing these lives, but wherever hour I can. So, and I will give you some heads up about that. It was supposed to happen today, but and I decided to talk about unsetting goals first. So anyway, have fun and comment if you like, and if you don't like, and just have fun, and see you next Thursday. Bye bye.